All right, hi everybody. My name's Jason. First off, the question I want to ask is, how many people use an Apple iPhone? The majority, and there's a couple of Android stragglers here. All right, cool. The reason I ask is because there's some apps in here that I'm going to mention that may not. I bought into the Apple cult a long time ago, back in the 80s when I got my first 2E. So I've been drinking that Kool-Aid for a long time. Not saying that one's superior and one is inferior. So anyway, my name is Jason Prigge. I'm going to just go through and tell you a little bit about myself. I have a lot of different things that I do. I'm very ADD and I'm very multi-skilled. So I can't stand sitting still. I can't stand doing one thing the whole time. So I do multiple things. I really have three tiers to who I am. Number one, I'm the founder and CEO of Vagabond Creative Studios. Vagabond Creative Studios was started by my wife and I in 2010. And we've been in business that long, so wow, that's like 11 years. I started literally in a garage with a folding card table and a folding chair. And now we just bought our first building downtown here on 7th and York Street. We're growing, not exponentially, but slow growth. And that's the way I like it, because if you grow too fast, you lose touch with what's really going on in your business. That's my main business. This is the one that pays most of my bills. And it's really interesting dynamic working with my wonderful wife, who has 10 years of governmental experience in the mayor's office under Mayor Kevin Crawford. She speaks 4 different languages, graduated with honors from DePaul University in Chicago, spent a lot of time in the corporate world, and she's pretty amazing. What we do at Vagabond is we make you look good. That's our motto. We do everything from website design, creative design, graphic design, social media management, marketing strategy, all those sort of things. And the reason we paint a broad brush and don't specify just one thing that we do, we're not a video studio or we're not a graphic design studio, is because we live in a town of 35,000 people. And we like to keep it local, and most of our clients are in town. When we first started our business, we branched out. We had clients in Milwaukee and Chicago. It's just hard to manage because we really like to do personal jobs. So who the heck am I? Well, I was raised in Sheboygan. I left Sheboygan when I was 17. I ran away from home. I toured with the Grateful Dead for 3 years. I came back after living all over the country, including Minneapolis. In the year 1999, I met my wife. In the year 2001, she imported me up to Manitowoc. I've been living here ever since. I've done everything from opening up my own restaurant in Two Rivers, which died a slow death at the economic downturn. In 2008, we closed. When that happened, a lot of businesses went under, and I was one of the victims. Our house was foreclosed on, my truck was repoed, and I lost about $250,000. It was a crazy time. But it's not about how hard you get hit. Brett Favre would always say it's about how quickly you get back up. So this is just a little thing, a little self-promotion, right? So back in 2019, I was featured in a magazine, Insight Magazine, for the Coolest Coast. And how many of you know what the Coolest Coast is? A few of you don't, a few of you do. The Coolest Coast was started by my wife, Tina, and I. And what we would do with our business is we'd go around to different places, and everywhere we went, we would hear things in Chicago, in Green Bay, and we went down to Ohio a couple times. And on the way back from Ohio, doing some filming for a local client who had a customer down there, he said, the client that we were filming said, "Oh, you're from Manitowoc, did he do it?" And I had heard that from everybody outside of this place about Manitowoc. And it just frustrated the crap out of me. So, by the way, I might swear. And I hope that we're all adults here and we can handle that. I won't say any naughty words, but I might say a crap or a damn, just so you know. Anyway, so we started the Coolest Coast initiative, and it just started with a hashtag Coolest Coast. And my wife started posting pictures on Facebook and Instagram. And then I had an intern in the summer of 2018 who wanted to learn how to do video. So I took my camera. I said, let's go. The Badger's coming in. It was in July. And I stood in front of the Badger and I said, welcome to the coolest coast. And I started talking about the Badger and how it's a gateway to Michigan, how it's actually a water highway. So that's how the coolest coast kind of got started. That video itself got like 12,000 views. And I'm like, hey, we got something here. So we just kind of hit on that. And the coolest coast right now is about 98% funded by me. So all of the work that we've done, the websites, the videos, which are over 400 now, and I'll show you some of the stuff here, was all produced and mainly financed by myself. We've had a few sponsors along the way. But we've got some good attention. We have over 9,000 followers on Facebook now. And a 2019 study said that 81% of people from 35 to 65 in Manitowoc County are on Facebook. That's where they get their news, that's where they get their content, so that's what we hit. So that's a little bit about us. This is our website right now, currently the way it is. We just recently switched some of these tabs around, but the website is in redevelopment now because of the popularity and the amount of hits we have. So we're reorganizing everything that we've done. But I just took a screenshot of it today, and I'll show you the website later. We're talking about social media, but this plays really importantly into social media. And what I'm going to talk about. So our tabs are watch, and that's all of our videos. Live here, work here, play here, eat here, visit here, and then we have a blog as well. We just recently, in cooperation with the city, recorded the holiday parade. If you missed the holiday parade, you can see your float in the holiday parade by going to one of our things. We've got a lot of wonderful accolades for that. So this is our mission at the Coolest Coast. To create positive community self-talk with the goal of attracting people to work and live on the lakeshore while providing a vehicle to promote, engage, and support citizens, businesses, and organizations. Pretty much just, hey, look at where we live. Look at this awesome place that we live. Instead of people always talking down about Manitowoc, what happens is that permeates the talk in your companies, right, and in your culture. So what we are trying to do is change that by speaking positive. If you grow up and everyone tells you that you're an idiot, your parents and everyone else, you're stupid, you're not going to do anything, guess what you're going to think about yourself? So if our community thinks positively about itself and about our companies and about our organizations and about our nonprofits and about all this stuff, we're going to then, and we can see it already, we're going to change our minds about our community. All right, so we're going to talk about workforce attraction here in a sec. Before we do that, I want to kind of go around the room and get to know you guys and who you represent. And so just tell me your name and what company you're with, and we'll start with you.
Sherry, Eck Industries.
Sherry's with Eck.
Kylie at
AmeriCollect.
Chris, Manitowoc Marina.
Hi, Chris.
Brent from Ryan Machining and Fabricating.
I'm sorry.
Ryan Machining and Fabricating.
Well, I've never heard of that company.
We're a small company.
How do you spell it?
Rhine, R-H-I-N-E.
All right, nice to see you.
Kelsey from Redline Plastics.
Oh, Redline Plastics. I love the videos on. Awesome.
Gretchen from AmeriCollect.
Hi, Gretchen.
Sam from Karen Net Company.
Sam, how you doing?
Amy from Karen Net Company.
Hi, Amy.
Hello. Shannon from Manitowoc Tool Machinery.
Hi, Shannon. Nice to see you.
Tammy from Dram Corporation.
Tammy from Dram.
Emily from WAP.
Hi, Emily. All right, awesome. Good companies, a lot of pillar companies and legacy companies on the lakeshore. Karen Net's been here for how long?
1934.
1934, look at that right away. Eck Industries has been here for a long time too. Do you know? Oh, I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm putting you on the spot. Emily, I won't ask you.
You gotta give me a break. 1937?
37. So all of these, a lot of these legacy companies have been in here for a long time, long before social media even began, right? All right, so right here is workforce attraction, and this is the big problem and the big thing that people come to me for these days with Vagabond. And how do we get more people? And how do we do social media better? How can I get more engagement in social media? And how can I get people into my business to even apply? I hear radio ads from, I think, almost everyone here. Who doesn't have a radio ad? There you go. Oh, there's a couple here. Excellent. Everybody else has radio ads. And I'm not going to tell you that social media is the only way to go. That would just be dumb. Because a multi-tiered approach in any war, which is a war, let's face it, you're trying to get people, and you're competing against each other as well in here. There's two foundries. Otherwise, I think there's pretty separate industries here. But content-driven marketing is really where it's at. And I see Redline's stuff on Facebook, so that's why I called Redline out. And we'll actually talk about Redline in a minute. So radio ads, television ads, there's really not a good newspaper in town, otherwise I'd say newspaper ads. All of these are a multi-tiered approach, and I'm not going to tell you that social media is going to solve all of your problems, because it's not. Social media is not going to solve any problem that you can't solve yourself. We're going to talk about how to utilize the platforms better than you're actually doing right now, but it's not a one and done approach. You have to have a multi-front approach with any marketing effort, and especially when you're trying to bring people to your company. So creating content is only one aspect of the solution. That's only one thing, and everybody knows what content is, right? So content's a video, content's a post, content's an article, a blog post. Content is what you have on your website. Okay, so this is a little self-serving. I kind of melded together a few presentations for today, so there's a couple of this. The one thing that is baffling people right now is how we never had a problem getting people in the door to apply for our positions. And how do we do that now? I have my cousin who just recently passed away, who's a historian here in Manitowoc, Ed Prigge. His widow bequeathed me some of the old Herald Times reporters. So when Gannett bought the Herald Times Reporter, they used to bind the newspaper up into these big books. I should have brought one. And I look at the employment section in there, and it's like 5-10 pages big. Right? That's where everybody would go to get their employment information. And even back then, they didn't really advertise employment on the radio. And radio was huge back then. It was all with the paper. And it's interesting because they used to charge by the word. And you can see, they'd cut corners with the words and stuff. But the cheese has moved. And even from the 80s and 90s and 2000s, it has moved. Now with the advent of social media and the advent of all these different apps and different news outlets and everything going online, everything is different. And if you don't, there's an analogy here behind this. I want to tell a quick story. I read a book a few years ago about a scientific study with mice in a maze. And what they did was they had about a dozen mice, and they had cheese in the middle of the maze. Now, when they first put the mice in the maze, they all worked together and they found the cheese, and that's where it was. And every day, that's where they'd go, and they'd always find the cheese in the same spot. Every day. Every day, every day. And then the scientists moved the cheese back to a back corner, which was kind of difficult to get to. All the mice, they went to that same spot, and they just looked at each other, and they didn't know where to go to get the cheese. One mouse, two mouse, they'll go and they'll search out the cheese. When one mouse finds the cheese, he'll eat the cheese, he'll come back, and he'll try to get mice to come with him. And only a few do. It takes a long time to get that change going. And that's why I use this slide. Who moved the cheese? Because if we keep on going back looking for the cheese in the same spot and it's not there, and we keep on going back and it's not there, Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? Innovation is great until it isn't. Nobody's laughing at that picture. I think it's funny. So this guy has got a great idea to scrape paint, right? To redo his facade there. But it doesn't look very comfortable, is it? Change is rarely comfortable. And innovation in digital media is constantly evolving. Now TikTok's a thing, and it is constantly changing, constantly moving, and we have to move with it. Company culture is a huge thing that everybody's talking about. How big is Redline's company culture on social media? It's huge, right? That's all we talk about is company culture, company culture. One of the problems, and Jamie and I were talking about this before I started here, was that a lot of people are just giving incentives and bonuses. Hey, $5,000 signing bonus, I'm ready to shut down my business and go apply for some of these jobs. I don't know what the statute is, how long I got to stay there to get the $5,000. But there's all these sort of incentives and all these sort of things. But why do people really want to work for you? What's different about you? Is it your legacy? Is it because you've been in the area for such a long time? Is it because it's a great environment to work? Is it because it's an easy job? Is it because they get to do cool things? Is it because you give them lunch every Friday? Think about those things. We're going to talk about something in what we call in marketing buyer personas in a little bit. And a buyer persona is a made-up person. And it's a marketing exercise that marketers go through when they're looking at helping companies. And a buyer persona is somebody, okay, we're going to name this person Sue, and she is between the ages of 25 and 35, and she likes to ride her bike. And, you have to look at what your current employees are doing in order to attract your future employees. Who are the people that have stayed with you a long time? Get all of those attributes together, and then you disseminate them, and then you'll have your buyer persona on what to do next. I was told there'd be a water cooler chat. Now, one of the things that we have in our minds when we employ people, and I've employed plenty of people through restaurants and grocery stores that I've worked at, through my own business, is people view culture as something that the company's just trying to do to please the employees. That it's not real, that it's fake. And I've seen that. I've seen the fake company culture in so many things, in so many jobs that I've had over my lifetime. And if people expect that company culture and it's there, they're drawn to that flame. If you start to snuff the flame out, or if you start to change or move the cheese on your people, you're going to lose them. Okay? That's all that's about. So I'm going to talk for a minute about branding. And branding is such a overused term in business right now. It is ridiculous. So, what is your definition of branding? What is a brand? Does anybody have an idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about branding?
It's how people identify your company.
Exactly, right? So branding is not what I say it is. It's what people say it is about me, right? So Coca-Cola can go out, or Apple, they can go out and say, hey, we're the greatest, we're the greatest, we're the greatest. But until my brother-in-law says, hey, did you see the new Apple phone? Did you see the new iPhone? It's pretty great. That's branding. Branding is what other people say about you. And it's really difficult when you're trying to attract people if you have a bad brand. The employer brand is different than the company brand. Okay? So ACK Industries, we're a foundry that, aluminum, right? All right. Don't tell Kylie, I forgot. Aluminum, and, I don't know much about them. I know maybe they have some government contracts, things like that. However, I know somebody that works at ACK, and they love it there. That's the employer brand. It's not the company brand, but the employer. How people are looking at you. You want to really be aware of that. And that consists of three different things as I define them. Now, I'm not the god of marketing. I'm not the god of workforce attraction. But these are the things that I've seen work. Number one is your value proposition. And what I mean by value proposition is why are people working there? Is it just for a paycheck? Or are they really enjoying their jobs? Is it because the nets are used in every NFL game? Is it, at Lambeau, right? Right? Is it because the basketball nets are at Neshota Beach or whatever? Is it because, Redline Plastics makes saddlebags for my motorcycle? What's the value proposition? And you want to really think about that, because that will attract who you get to apply for your company. So at MTM or any of these companies, what are you innovating on? What are you doing that's different? For Manitowoc Marina, why would people want to work there? Well, you get to work outside in the summer. You're doing innovative things. It's never the same. This is the value proposition that you want to put forth in your materials, in your marketing materials when you go out there. You want to make sure that people know why you are different. Not just the big bonuses. Anybody can give you money. Okay? And that's fine if you're giving bonuses. I'm not trying to knock that. But in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, how's your employee retention? I love this. I can't wait to see in 2026, 5 years from now, when we see how these bonuses have really panned out. Are those people still there, or did they last a year and then go to someplace else? And then that money is not spent well, right? The average cost to train an employee in manufacturing is what? Does anybody know? I mentioned manufacturing because most of us are manufacturers in the room. It's $50,000 when you talk about the instruction, the time that people put forth, HR costs, all that stuff. The average is $50,000 of the company's time. Now, that's over a period of like 2 years, but you can see that $5,000 isn't going to do you jack squat if you don't have a great value proposition. The second word is a really overused word, and that's culture. What does culture mean to you? What is work culture? Does that mean you have a slide in the break room? Right? Does that mean, you're buying lunch for everybody? The work culture goes a lot deeper than just that surface stuff. We really care about our employees is the most overused phrase that I've heard. We really care about our employees. Anybody can say that. Whether or not you really care about it by providing great health insurance, by providing whatever it is, caring about what they care about, right? For instance, and I don't think Tasha's in here, from Ammo Inc., I had a meeting with Tasha a few weeks ago, and Ammo Inc. is growing, right? They're building a whole brand new facility and stuff, and you know what they're doing? They're investing in what their employees love to do. Most of the people that are working and employed at Ammo Inc. get into the cause, right? Left, right, in between, I'm not here to preach to anybody, but they are hunters, they are sportsmen, right? Maybe ex-military that believe in the cause. Now, there's a lot that don't. However, Ammo Inc. is more apt to sponsor a sportsman's club that Joe and his buddies that he works with go and skeet shoot on the weekends with than they are to do something that they're not involved with at all, right? So that's really the crux of company culture. If you have 5 employees or 100 employees, what are they doing on their weekends? Are they family people? Do you know? How do you find out? Those are really important things that go into feeding into a culture. When I, back in the late 90s when I worked in Minneapolis, I worked at an art gallery. And it was just, I went and installed these beautiful, beautiful, huge paintings about the size of that whiteboard in this corporate office. And I said, well, wow, why did you guys pick these paintings? Well, because of the names. I said, well, do your employees like abstract art? No, we don't know. They did it because they wanted to have a certain, they wanted to have a certain image. Oh, yeah, this is a bird painting, so this cost us $50,000, and that's why we're successful. That's not company culture. That's just, patting yourself on the back because we're doing good. Instead of doing that, why don't you take the entire of your employees out to a Twins game, right? For that $50,000, because that's what they care about. I read an article about employee motivation, and they were talking to Elon Musk. And there again, take him or leave him, but I thought what he said was really important. He said that there was an employee that every Friday would come in late. Every single Friday she would come in late. And the HR person called, wrote him up and everything, and every Friday the same thing. Until she was almost fired. And the HR person, this was a top-level employee, the HR person brought him into a meeting and was talking to Elon Musk and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, why are you really late? He said, well, I got this daughter. And then she's going to violin lessons, blah, blah, blah. And then the night before, my husband has to work late until blah, blah. And so her thing was every Friday morning, it was a mad, mad house at her house. And then Elon Musk said, why don't you come in at noon every Friday? What do you mean? Why don't you come in? Yeah, just make up the hours the rest of the week. If you don't, no big deal. I'll still pay you full time. That person produced so much more than she did before, kept her job, and was happy at home. So if somebody wants to work, and I see a lot of the people doing this, like work 3 days, get paid for 40, that type of stuff is really important. But you want to look at your existing employees and also for retention, see what they want, right? That is all part of the culture of your company. Do we really just say that we care about people, or do we really care about them? Do we sponsor their little league team, or do we say, no, the company doesn't have any money for that? Would you have money enough to hire another person to replace them? The employees are in charge here, right? You want to please them. How many people have marketing degrees in the room? You have one? Excellent. One out of how many HR people in the room, right? Marketing and HR should be connected at the hip because they're really the same thing, right? You're marketing a company through your employee culture. If I work for a company, okay, for instance, I worked for, when my restaurant closed, I told you the story, I worked for Mark Scogan. The mayor here, Kevin Crawford, got me an interview with Mark Scogan, the owner of Festival Foods. I'm like, holy cow, all right. So I march up there in my suit and tie and I talk to Mark and tell him my story and everything else. And after working in bakery and deli, they trained me as a manager, and I'm doing my best. And I finally got my house back on track, my house payments. I got my Jeep out of the impound lot. And I was talking to Mark when he came, because I was working off the Mason Street store, and he was right there. So he came in, and he was talking, how's it going, Jason? How you doing? So I'm doing great. You know, I do miss cooking, and you guys all have your recipes all set and lined up here, and I can't, there's no creativity. And I know, I'm not complaining. He said, okay, well, why don't you come to my house this weekend? He said, talk to your manager. Anything you need in the store, I'm having a dinner party this weekend for 12 people. Come and cook for me. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. All right, so I went to his house. He's got this beautiful house up in Green Bay, and I went to his house and I prepared dinner, and everybody loved it, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, that salad you made, we should feature that in the deli. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. And he would do that periodically. I hated working in the deli from day to day. I really didn't like it. But that kind of kept me going. I'm like, oh, Mark. And then he'd slip me a couple of C notes for doing his party. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. That he understood and understands the company culture. You'll see Festival Foods sponsor the fireworks here in town. What value do they get from that? They care about the community. So they're constantly doing stuff like that. The candidate experience is another thing about your employer brand. Now the candidate experience doesn't have anything to do with the people that you're working with already, that are working under you or anything like that. The candidate experience is like, I'm going to apply for a position at ECK. And what's the interview like? I remember when I was young, I was 15 years old, I went to apply for a job at the McDonald's on the north side in Sheboygan. And I went there, and my dad took me, and it was just really nervous. I was in high school and everything else, and I went, and the manager just didn't care if I was there or not. And when they did the interview, it was terrible. It was just all like, she didn't even look up at me. So what's the candidate experience? When people are coming to you, when you finally get them through the door with their resume or with their application, what is that candidate experience? Are you smiling at them? Are you giving them a Coke? You know, are you giving them a tour of the place, or is it just an assembly line? Okay, next. You know, you see these auditions and how, next. That is super important as well, because that person, if they have a really bad interview with you, will go out and tell everybody about it. Don't apply at ECK. And I'm sorry, I'm picking on people that I know. Don't apply where at, you know, whatever, because they don't even care that you're there to be there. So I'm getting closer to social media, but I want to set the stage here. This is not company culture either. Anybody know what this movie this is from? One of my favorite movies, Office Space. It cracks me up every time. This is Trotsky's, or is it Chotsky? I can't remember even the restaurant. But you have to have a minimum amount of flair, which are these pins on your vest when you're working. And Jennifer Aniston's character only does the minimum. And so the manager's like, we got to talk about your flair. It's for you to express yourself. That's company culture gone wrong. They think it's company culture, but if an employee actually feels harassed, like, hey, I noticed you're not wearing jeans on Jean Friday. If they're not wearing jeans, let them alone, for goodness sakes. You're not going to win over anybody with that type of company culture. Another one from the movie. If you guys can all just do this culture, that'd be great. If you could just, you know, all get in line and, you know, do this thing, that'd be great. If somebody doesn't want to do it, let them sit out. Let them be on their own, right? Everybody has a different thing. I'm diabetic. I can't participate in break room birthday cake. Well, there's a great opportunity for a manager to bring me a Diet Coke. You know, there's other ways than forcing people into that. Company culture. All right, we're going to talk about social media. There are so many social media platforms out there right now, it's ridiculous. We are looking for employees in Manitowoc, and I'm just going to make a wild assumption here on what I know. In Manitowoc, Sheboygan, Fox Valley, and Green Bay, we want to bring those, we want to steal from those areas, right, and bring them into Manitowoc to work, right? And we also want to have people leave their current jobs, and it's interesting because we're all in competition here, leave their current jobs and come apply for us, right? Determining what platform your business needs to have a presence on entails developing a buyer persona, which I talked about before. A buyer persona is a made-up person that may use your services or that may apply for your job. It is a blend of different actual customers and or applicants. If you try to be everything to everyone when you're out there looking for people, you won't be anything to anyone. This is a motto that I have in my office, because I have to constantly remind myself when people say, hey, I need to be on Facebook, or I need to be on TikTok. Why do you need to be on TikTok again? You can't be everything to everybody. So really, who are you being? Right? I did a tour through Wisconsin Aluminum Foundry, for instance. My dad worked at a foundry when I was a kid. He worked at Kohler Company in Kohler, right outside of Sheboygan, and that smell reminded me of my dad. I would work at that company just for that, just to feel like my dad every day. Big tough guy coming in. That is a specific type of person. You're dealing with probably a male or a female who loves to be physical in a foundry setting, right? Who loves the hard work and the sweat and loves to go home stinking to high heaven every day. Anybody see Bruce Almighty? One of my favorite movies. Morgan Freeman's character, he plays God in there, says some of the happiest people go home stinking to high heaven because they love working hard. Now, if you're an office worker, you're not going to apply for a job at a foundry unless you really, 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 really need one, right? But that would appeal to me. So I'm not going to go out there when I'm trying to gather people together to apply for my positions. I'm not going to go out there and tell them about the great office conditions because they're not going to be in the office. I'm going to tell them about how, it's awesome temperature, 365. You go home, you're part of a team. This is like a hardcore thing. If if you like to be physical, this is you want to be in shape, you can work out at work. Those type of things. Know the type of candidates you want to attract. And where are they on social media? So, people on TikTok. Who here is on TikTok? So we've got 1, 2, 3, and you're all younger than I am, right? I'm just getting into TikTok. I spent, before I went to bed last night, on my phone, probably an hour. People doing these dances and stuff. I'm like, what is this? Because
You're talking about watching, not necessarily participating. So
watching and participating, yeah. So I'm trying to think of how my brands that I manage can be on TikTok. One of the third things I do, I didn't mention it before, I'm an artist. You may have seen some of my work. Back in 2012, I'm going to point to Jamie. We've been friends for a while. Back in 2012, we put together a grant to do a mural on Quay Street. And you may have seen it. It's a historic shipbuilding mural. It's got 3 panels. Before that, there wasn't a lot of murals or a lot of public art in Manitowoc. And I have to, hats off to Jamie, of course, that wrote a grant for that. After that, the city ordinance got changed and everything else got changed. So now there's art all over the place. A Manitowoc postcard mural, I did that one as well. And you see that all over the place. My point in that is with TikTok, I'm thinking, I could probably do some progress painting things, but I don't know how to market my design business on there. Well, why don't I do the same thing? You got to think outside the box. If you want employees that are on TikTok, you have to come up with a creative solution to be on TikTok. Of those of you that raise your hands that you're on TikTok, how many of you have companies that are on TikTok? Right? So if we want to use that platform, we've got to know how to use that. We've got to do some research and come up with some cool ideas. And if you need ideas, that's how I make my living. I can help you out with that. So I think what we should do right now is kind of do a buyer persona exercise. And you can write this down if you want. And you can not if you don't want to. But I really want to think about what platform your employees are on. Do you know? Most of you are in HR, right? HR or in management positions, right? Do you actually know what platforms, what social media platforms your employees are on? Does anybody? How about ask them? right? Ask them what platforms they're on. I know what platforms my clients are on. Most of them are on LinkedIn. Most of them, and then the other is Facebook, right? So I get a lot of business from those two platforms. Facebook is the coolest coast, has a big influence, right? On Facebook. I mean, we're all over the place. I put of my own money. Last year was, my wife I told her, just be patient. This will pay off one day. Last year I put $9,000 in advertising for Coolest Coast, paid advertising on Facebook alone, right? I don't have a retirement plan. That is my retirement plan. Anyway, determine what platform that those people are on. That's going to be step one for your buyer persona, or your applicant persona in this case. A buyer persona is a made-up person that uses your services, and it's the same. This is a marketing thing. This is something you taught in marketing school, right? The buyer persona, it's the same thing with the applicant. Now you're going to have people that have just lost their job or moved jobs or are just coming into the workforce. So there may be 4 or 5 different buyer personas coming up. They may work at Burger Boat right now. You know what I mean? They may be looking for something different. So you got to find where they are so they can see your contents. How many of you listen to AM radio? A few? I'm on AM radio. I listen to AM radio a lot just because Mark Seehafer called me up one day and said, Jason, do you want to do a show for Coolest Coast? And he gave me this show for free. Otherwise, I'm going to have to tell you, honestly, I don't listen to AM radio. I listen to my phone. I've got iTunes on there. I've got 12 Beatle albums, all the Grateful Dead albums, some 90s gangster rap. That's what I listen to, and then I listen to podcasts. So AM radio is not the place to find me. Where would you find me? Spotify. Does anybody know how to advertise on Spotify in the room? You got to find that out, okay, and work with that. I don't watch network TV either. So if you need a guy like me to work at your foundry or at your marine or anything, you're not going to find me on TV running. You can run all the ads you want and all the Packer games. I don't watch the Packer games. I don't watch sports at all. So I'm a really great worker. I would love to work in a foundry. How the heck are you going to find me? Well, I'm on Facebook all the time. Why am I on Facebook? Because that's where all my high school people are. During the pandemic here, that's how I hook up with a lot of people. Facebook Messenger is huge. I use WhatsApp with family. There's a lot of different places where I'm at that you may not be thinking about, and those places are on social media. Now, if you're doing television ads and you want to get people's attention, that's great. All I'm saying is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Disperse them. Disperse it out, right? And use your website too. I'm going to just diverge here for just a quick second because people spend a lot of money with me every year on websites. And we look at the Google Analytics I say, I'll follow up with you in 6 months and a year. How are you getting people to your website? Well, we advertise in the paper, we've got a television ad, and we get maybe 50 people a month to your website to attract talent. What's wrong with that? You're not using social media to drive people to your website. If the website is the hub of all things Wisconsin Aluminum Foundry, that's where you want to bring everybody. You don't want them horsing around on social media and seeing your competitors' stuff. You want to get them right into your website. So make sure you got a great website and make sure all your social media points to that. All right. Where are they engaging in social media? What are their passions? What are their activities? What are their concerns? What is their age? Are they family people? Are there economic factors involved? Now, here again, I don't get political. By the way, this is another thing I don't do, is get political or religious with anything that I do. Unless I'm selling yard signs or crucifixes, I say leave that stuff alone. This is business, right? So what are the economic factors? What if there is a way to gather a bunch of people who just came into the country to work at your company, but you can't get them here from Minneapolis, right? Or you can't get them here from Laredo, Texas. How can you reach those people and bring them here to Manitowoc? Get somebody who speaks Spanish on your staff or speaks Farsi. Get somebody that will drive a bus down there and pick them up. Provide them with housing. There are so many economic factors here. We've got all these jobs available, and there are people that want to work them. They're just not living here yet until you bring them here. So targeted Facebook, targeted Instagram into demographics other than Manitowoc is really important as well. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes. These are the different platforms that I have somewhat familiarity with and I can speak with a little bit of authority with, except for the last two, right? These I'm studying all the time. I study different stuff all the time. How to make a better film, how to do different things, how to draw a nose. You know, I'm always curious. I'm always reading books and looking at the internet. I have a subscription to LinkedIn Learning. Does anybody know what that is? Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of inside information. I'm a high school dropout. I was in advanced classes in high school, but I dropped out. They didn't know how to teach me. LinkedIn Learning knows how to teach me. And every skill that I built my businesses on came from digital media, right? Without the internet, I would not be who I am and doing what I do and everything else. So Facebook is good for long-term video and static content. So when I say static content, I mean you're posting a picture or you're posting an article, right? That's what I would term static content. It's also good for short-form content and stories. Everybody knows what the story function is on Instagram, and we can look at that in a minute. Facebook has it now too because this is the same company. Meta, right? Sounds pretty ominous, Meta. Everybody complains about Meta, but nobody's leaving Facebook. And nobody's leaving Instagram. I'm leaving Facebook, I'm just gonna be on Instagram. You know it's the same company, right? Bro, you know, it's the same thing. So Instagram obviously is great for pictures, for short form content, and I don't know why I messed that up here. LinkedIn is good, that should be a separate thing. LinkedIn is good for long form video and static content. LinkedIn is great, I read so many articles on LinkedIn. I click on a link and I'll go to an article and I'll read about marketing, whatever it is. And all the companies that I follow on LinkedIn are, you know, different marketing magazines, different video producers, different, you know, strategies for that stuff. I'm involved in like 10 different groups. And when a group posts something, like a new article, it gives me a notification. So you want to be involved with that type of stuff. TikTok and Snapchat, I'm just dating myself. Yeah, I don't know all that stuff, sorry. I'm researching it. So I wanted to let everybody know this because this is a piece of information and this is why the Coolest Coast is doing so well on Facebook. Everybody talks about, I'm not getting any engagement on Facebook, and I told you how much I spend on paid. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about organic. And organic is you just throw something up there. This is how the algorithm ranks it. If you're going live and I'm following Karen Nett and you're live at the Packer game and Bill's in a box or whoever, I will see that. You guys have seen those live things. Such and such is live right now. Those things go number one, top of the feed, right? So you want to think about this when you're posting your stuff. There are ways and tricks to make video go live. In the Premiere function in the Creator Studio, which is getting into the weeds a little early here, but you can make it a Premiere video and it'll act like a live video once. We do lives all the time. Every Wednesday we do a live with the library on Coolest Coast. Every Tuesday my wife has a morning show with one of her girlfriends. And that goes to the top of the feed. The second is pre-recorded video. So we're going to make a video, this awesome video that Redline just made with all the drone shots and stuff. That is the next thing. If you just post a video without any text, it will rank lower. You always want to put text and links with all of your video content. Really with all of your content, even if you're writing a blog, right? I'm bringing up Redline because they made a video, and it's like a minute, right? And I'll show you in a minute. It's just all drone shots of cool things of Manitowoc, and they throw their company in there. It's actually quite brilliant. The only thing I don't like about it is they didn't hire me to do it. So anyway, that video is number two. Then it's pictures with descriptions, right? So we're going to post a picture of whatever, a cornucopia, Thanksgiving, and tell everybody happy Thanksgiving. Then we're going to write a little thing about how thankful we are about being thankful and grateful for Thanksgiving. So that will rank third. The last is just regular copy. If you're doing a blog, probably don't do it on Facebook. Do it on LinkedIn. Because just writing in a post is not going to get you a lot of engagement unless you have a huge following that expects that type of content from you. So that is really important to know when you're doing organic stuff. When you're doing paid stuff, who here has done paid Facebook posts? You know, if you go with the business suite and stuff, you know that you can really drill down to the gnat's ass, there I go swearing, who is doing, next to the NSA, a lot of people don't know this, next to the NSA, Facebook is the largest aggregator of your data. If you're on Facebook and you post something like, hey, I love Croc shoes, or I love this Nirvana, or whatever, you will see that all the time. And there's a thing called a Facebook Pixel that you can install on your website. So if people go to your website and they're like, oh boy, I just looked at this book on Amazon, that's why you see an ad for it when you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, because those things are then connected. All right, this is also an important thing I wanted to really import to, to everybody right now. This is a content calendar, okay? Does anybody know what batching content means? You ever hear that term before? Batching content means I'm going to do a post every Saturday, so there's 4 of them here, and it's going to be about logos and stuff. And I'm going to post something about logos, fonts or whatever, because I'm in the design business too. So it's like, every Saturday I'm going to do that. There are ways to go about it. Every Saturday at 7 a.m. I could wake up and do a post. Or I could do them all Friday after lunch before I leave and schedule them to go out. Batching, see, people think that, oh man, I got to post again on social media again. I got to put something up on Instagram. I got to do something on LinkedIn. What am I going to do? Plan it a month ahead of time. Because if you have planned posts, like every Monday, we have the boat show, Monday with the Marina or whatever, and you want to do that show every Monday, film 4 of those minute episodes or whatever it is at once. Change your shirt if you want to. But do them all at once, then schedule them on Facebook through the business suite on Facebook, and I'll show you that in just a second. That way, that gives you opportunity, all this space over here, when the president comes and visits you, okay, or an employee, wins an Olympic medal or whatever, you have then the opportunity to organic post, and it's not such a chore anymore. You know what you want to say, you know what you want to post, come up with a show, come up with a, Monday Miracles. Did you know that this person overcame this challenge that works for us? She's got 4 kids at home, her husband died, blah, blah, blah. Monday Miracles. So batch and do a content calendar. You can do this right within the Facebook app now. It's very, very cool. All right, I want to talk about content creation. I know I'm talking at a mile a minute. There's a lot of stuff to think about when you're trying to market to attract people. Content creation is huge. It's huge. Short and sweet for daily lead generation and education and knowledge. Inbound marketing. People who market know that what inbound marketing is. Inbound marketing is, if I have a restaurant, I'm going to do a cooking show. And that's exactly what I did with my restaurant before social media. I had a restaurant and I went to Cook's Corner and I'd do a cooking show once a month. That's all I could get Comcast, which when they used to actually do stuff like that in the community. I did a cooking show. So many people came into the restaurant to try out the things I was cooking on the cooking show. So you want to make sure that in your content creation, it's also educating people. It's not just a billboard like, hey, $5,000. That has its place. What you want to do is make sure you educate people at all. Do you know what we make at ECK? We have this unique system. Do you know you're never doing the same thing at Manitowoc Marina? I mentioned the Packers because I just think it's a cool story with Karen Net. There are so many different things. You know how a basketball net is actually made? I do, because I saw the wall mount things and I actually made one. Okay? So, and where are you sending people? Don't hesitate on content. So, well, I don't want to give away all my secrets. You don't have to give away anything. Educate them. Okay, these are the type of boats that we work on. We're not a assembly line boat builder. At Manitowoc Marina, you work on different boats all the time. Action, action, action. If you don't post something, that's a problem. If you do, and it's not good, that's a problem, right? You want to make sure your content is digestible to people, and it's also relevant to people. Now, we just want workers. We don't need to educate them on the process of whatever. Yeah, you do. Because you may get a guy like me who loves working in a foundry, right? And I'll go and apply for that. I want to talk about content production apps. Who here uses anything from the Adobe suite, Affinity, anything? Who's a designer? Kindred spirits here. I have an Adobe Creative Cloud suite. It has saved my life more than anything. And now it's all on mobile as well. So Adobe is great. It cost me, with my whole business and everything else, $80 a month. Now that's a lot of money, right? Not to be able to produce content like that. There are other things like Canva. Have you heard of Canva? I think their base membership is like $12 a month. You can produce some pretty cool looking stuff there. Well, I don't know how to design. They'll pretty much design it for you. You just have to add in the content, right? The dates and everything else. Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word are really underrated design functions. This screen, if I put something in there and I have let's say a PowerPoint template, you can use that then for social media. People are not connecting the dots with that. Do that. You don't have to be a professional designer. I'm talking myself out of future business here. But you don't have to be a professional designer. There are mobile apps like Clips. If you're an Apple iPhone user, Clips is huge. Does anybody know what Clips is? Oh my goodness. I got to show you guys something. This is super cool. And it's a free app. If you, please, Android people, just bear with me for a second. All right, this will blow your mind. Because a lot of the content that I do professionally and stuff is done on the iPhone. Okay, so Clips is a video app. And it is, I don't know how to edit video. This is awesome. So, Clips works on a system. I'm just going to hold this here. Hey, we're going to demo Clips for these guys here. Woohoo! Works on a system that then puts your video clip down here, and you can rearrange them. Very, very cool stuff. This is great for. Oops. There we go. This is great for just doing quick stuff out in the field. You can change the camera view, by the way. I just have it on selfie right now. You can add text with Clips. Look. And you can change that text. Now, what it does is it's got an AR function, and it will stay with that. So when you're doing the video, it'll stay with your face like that. See, isn't that cool? There's also environments with this. Here, let's see if it'll download this. Now this is cool. Where are we? We are in the middle, looks like somewhere here in the middle of the ocean on a spaceship. And they have all these cool environments. So if you have something festive going on, Foundation, I haven't watched that show yet. So you have something festive going on, you don't even need a green screen. Isn't that cool? Clips will also translate your words into text. So that if somebody's on the toilet and they don't want the sound on, they'll be able to read the closed captioning. It's an amazing app. If you have an Apple iPhone, download this right now. This is what it looks like right here. And it'll change your life. It's a really great thing for mobile video production. Well, we don't have a sound studio, we don't have blah, blah, blah. You get Clips. If you don't have Clips, get one of these other apps. So how many people have IGTV? Is your business on Instagram? I should probably ask you that. Yes, no? Video, you should be on Instagram. Look at here, this business is on Instagram. This is IGTV, Freak Toys. Anybody ever been there? It's a cool store. My son loves this store. And they do these quick videos and they get engagement, right? Out of it. And IGTV is a lot like TikTok. You just scroll through these videos here and you see different things.
All right, guys, so I'm here with someone you recognize.
This is Good Morning America.
She's our queen of
Anyway, you do these quick videos, but you got to be consistent with them. And they've got to be cool, right? They've got to be different. Get some of these different apps, and I'll send you guys a list. By the way, I'm going to send you this PowerPoint. I have all your email addresses. I know where you live. So I'll send you this PowerPoint. Oh, now it's going to do this to me. Okay, so there's Clips. There's Canva. I wonder if I have to do that to get rid of the thing. Or is it just going to do it? Sorry. Smart TV, my ass. There we go. All right. Whoop. Okay, so these are other mobile apps that you can use. Typorama is a great app. put text on photos. If you do anything, if you get anything from this thing today, put text on your darn photos. If you're doing Instagram stories, hashtag the crap out of those, right? If you're on Instagram and you're doing business stuff. iMovie is a great way for Apple users to produce video. Spark Camera is a great way to produce video. LumaFusion, I've actually done professional work on my iPad and my phone, video work with LumaFusion. It actually handles 4K footage better than my Mac. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Instagram, you can create content, take a screenshot, save the post to your photos. You don't even have to post it. Zoom. Has anybody gone into the extra features of Zoom? We're all on Zoom these days. Zoom has some pretty cool features. Look into the advanced features on Zoom. It'll actually give you some ideas for content creation. All right. All right. Now this is a little bit promotion here. I'm not even going to do that. What we're doing with Coolest Coast here is we are producing now in the future, in 2022, a whole new series of videos. And I've done a couple of these before. It was called Coolest Coast Craftsman. And we went to a couple of different places. Paul Hoffman at Pet Skull is in one, where we go to these businesses and we talk about the craft that they're doing. Everybody's got a craft here. Every business that exists today started in somebody's garage. It was somebody's idea, right? So we're going to start producing these. And the reason why, I'm going to show you in just a sec here. I'm going to actually go to social media now. Enough of this. Listen to me jabber about all this stuff. Let's actually get something done here. Let's escape through this. All right. Boy, this mouse is fast. All right. So this is our website. And if you're interested in looking at what we have on the website, it's pretty amazing. CoolestCoast.com. Right now I'm on the career page. And starting January 1, I've got somebody already interested to sponsor the career page. And what that's going to be is a big banner on the top here. It'll say sponsored by blah, blah, blah. I can't say who yet. And then we'll have 3 other sponsor things in there. And their jobs will be able to, and a video will be able to be displayed here. And it'll be able to be changed. Time here. Oh boy, I'm trying to do this sideways, backwards. Somebody messaged me. Okay, who knows about Facebook Business Suite? Do you use that a lot? Okay, so Facebook Business Suite, if you don't know about it, there's Creator Studio, there's Business Suite. I'm going to go to this right here. Business Suite. If you want to find out more about Business Suite and how to boost your ads, you ever see that? Boost this now? I usually tell people don't do that. I tell them to go to the Business Suite, get a professional account, because if you just boost, you're just kind of throwing stuff out. You want to get really specific in demographics and content, okay? So go to facebook.com business. You'll have the Business Suite there. You'll have to sign up, and you can do that through Facebook. So I'm going to go through Facebook here. This is the Coolest Coast page. And now, Coolest Coast differs from your companies, right? Because we're not technically even a business yet. But I wanted to show you some of the features that go there. Everybody knows how this works. Now, you see over on this side, if you're posting to Facebook, the Business Suite tab is right here. If you click on this Business Suite tab, it will get you, it'll take you right to, you probably see my messages from my friend here. It'll take you to the Business Suite, and this is what it is. And this can be really confusing and daunting unless you really know how to use it, right? And what you want to do is go in here and look at your stuff. Now, this is where you can find out what your boosted posts are doing, what your advertised posts are doing, how many people are following you. I know that my Facebook page reach is only at 24,000 people. That seems like a lot, right? It's been up to 70, 80% or 80,000 before. It's down 15% from a week ago. Excuse me, from a month ago. So I know that these are all the metrics. These are the insights. This is the this is the backstage pass to how your page does. Otherwise, how do you know? Right? One of the cool things that they've added here recently is this planner. And the planner is a place where you can, that looks kind of familiar. You can see your content planned and you can schedule posts. You can schedule a post or a story. And this is how it's done, right? Now this stuff is all past content. It's just showing a week here, but I can look at the whole past of the week. I can see what did really well. My wife and I went down to see my friend Kevin Seifert down in Milwaukee in a play he's in. I can see that got 290 interactions. 5 people commented it and 8 people shared it. The most underrated metric on social media is the share. It is the referral of our age, right? If you share something, you care about it or you think it's funny or whatever. But if people are sharing and engaging with your content, then you know you're doing a good job. This is the show that my wife does. 41, look at 41, 41. This is a piece of content that we did that's not getting a lot of traction. It's not our content. Vagabond did it for Healthiest Manitowoc County. It's about smoking. So why isn't that content getting much traction? Because it's not natively posted on my Facebook site. It is attached. They tagged me. And that's what that link is right there that you see the link. They linked back to me. They didn't give me permission to post that, yet they tagged me, right? Because they want all of that interaction to come to their Facebook page. So be careful when you're posting links and stuff that you're doing it in the right way, that you can get interaction. So that is really an important thing. This planner is huge. You can go back, you can look at your post stories. This is a great way. I don't even go to the normal Facebook page when I use Facebook professionally anymore. I don't. I'm either in a business suite or Creator Studio. And they both have very similar functionalities. All my notifications are here. Posts and stories, my ads are here. Insights are here. You can click more tools here. Insights are really interesting. If you want to know if your ad is doing well, this is where you look. I can see that this post with me and my friend Tom got 10,000 likes out of that. That's pretty good. So these are some of my top posts from last month. You can see where my Instagram, see I told you these were all one company. You can see where my likes are for my page and blah, blah, blah. And it tells you who it is. Are they male, female? What's the age? Right? So you want to really look into this. Have you guys explored this? Okay, if you're doing social media with your company for talent attraction, you need to figure out who you're attracting. And get to know this. And it's not that hard. There are probably 1 million YouTube videos on this alone, and they're constantly coming out, right? Just go on YouTube, which is the second largest search engine on the internet, next to Google. YouTube is. I always tell people I went to the University of YouTube. So go on YouTube and start to really see how you can utilize this stuff better. It's not that hard. This is stuff my son could do here. This is not a huge thing. So you can see what your audience is like. You can see blah, you can see your results and what's going on. This spike here, I know this spike here. So my Facebook reach is blah, blah, blah. I know this spike is a holiday parade. I know exactly what day that was on. And different content. You can hover over these things and you can see. Boy, this mouse is touchy. Facebook reach was 8,000 on that day alone, right there. Why? Because of the holiday parade. There's so many different things on here that you can do. You can look at paid impressions are down because my wife told me don't spend so much money at the end of the year here. So you can see my Facebook paid impressions are way, way down. I don't like that. But yeah, I spent all the money I could this year, which was more than, you can see I stopped totally advertising. I did sneak in something for the holiday parade there. And you can see obviously what your audience is, the age, the gender, where they are. So you can see on Coolest Coast, we have our top cities, obviously Manitowoc, right? But we've got a good percentage in Two Rivers. And this is kind of relates to the population around here. You can see the people, the stuff. This surprises me all the time, Green Bay and Sheboygan. Why are those rating higher than Mishicot? Well, because I'm from Sheboygan, and I convinced a lot of people to follow the page. I got a lot of family down there, so they follow me. But Green Bay, we do engage with the audience in Green Bay. So anyway, Facebook Business Suite is huge. Let's say you want to know from the start of your Facebook page to now what all this stuff is. Now this is just a month, right? What if you want to know what all of it is? You go up here, and you can click down here. Okay. You can export these reports too. There's a way, where is it now? I have to go back. Boy, this mouse. Okay, right here. Up here it says the last 28 days. You can click here and you can custom make your range of days. And you want to look at that because it'll show you month by month, week by week, day by day, what your content is doing. Instead of just throwing seeds out there, hope they grow, you can actually see what content is working well for you. If you're looking for an employee on the line, I better watch my time here, I can talk forever. If you're looking for an employee on the line, don't do one ad on Facebook or on any social media. Don't do just one thing, do 5. See which one works best and then hit that one hard, right? It's the old vein of gold. If you're mining, you're just not going to bust up a bunch of, if you see a vein of gold, you're going to follow that vein of gold. See which one is getting the most engagement and the most reaction, and then follow that to success. Okay, I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to jump into Creator Studio. Creator Studio is great for creating content. This will also have the very similar functions of what the other one had. For instance, insights are here, and this is kind of a dumbed down version of what we just looked at. But this will show you, you can see how my advertising here, right, and my minutes and everything are dropping off because I'm 100% organic. I just told you I stopped putting money in, right, because my wife. And I love my wife. If it wasn't for her, I'd be bankrupt. But you can see that. You can see the types of content that people are following. This is so important because once you have that buyer persona we were talking about, then you'll be able to go in there and really figure out, and it's work. It's not just easy. You'll figure out who's following you and what. 10,000 video views, which is up 641% from the past 7 days. I know that's from the holiday parade. Why is this one down, the net followers? Well, I haven't really been pushing followers. I haven't done any advertising in that. There's a lot of people that aren't in the area. A lot of times we get followers off of tourism stuff in the summer. So you want to really look at those type of things. And I could really go in to a lot of these things. If you ever have any questions about them, my card's right there. Send me an email. I will come over to your office free of charge and I will tell you all about this stuff. Okay? Just because it's just for me, right? Because I get so tired of people hitting their heads against the wall and not getting engagement. Well, social media doesn't work. I tried it for 3 months. Product development, do you try for 3 months or is that a constant thing? Right? Marketing is you just do one marketing thing and then wait for a year? No, it's a constant thing. You have to be vigilant and you have to know what you're doing. And this stuff is changing. The next time I do a presentation like this, I guarantee this will all be different. Because it's constantly changing. And they're putting different metrics on there and blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of things right now. For the attention per dollar, Facebook is still the cheapest way to get people into your business. Still the cheapest way. So anyway, you can see what all that stuff is. I want to go to... Here we are. My buddy here wants to get together. All right. So on your Facebook page that you have for your business, did you know that you could have people apply right there? How many people have functionality on there? First of all, I'm doing this social media thing. How many people are actually in charge of their company's Facebook page? Just a few? Get with the people who are in charge and tell them about this stuff because it's pretty amazing. That was weird. This guy was looking up at me, talking to me here. Anyway, you can do job postings right on Facebook. You edit your settings. You could edit your info here. One of the most important things is to have some piece of content when people open your Facebook page that's engaging. You can see this, Kites over Lake Michigan. This is a video I did a couple years ago. It's got almost 30,000 views. 214 people like it. This is a feature video that we do. If I go down here, you can see we did this video for the city. 63,000 people reached. 9,300 people engaged with this video. What does that mean? They liked it, they shared it, they commented on it. That's what engagement means. That's a big number, right? You can see the boosted post here that I did April 13th for this video. You can see I reached 17,000 people for it. Through plays, which means they watched the entire video, was almost 2,000 people. But I keep that there. I pin that to the top of my page because that's what we're about. The city hired Vagabond to do a video on the city a couple years back for the 150th thing. And I asked Justin, I said, the mayor, I said, can we use it for Coolest Coast? He said, sure. And it's been one of the biggest things. People commented on this video from all over the country. It's pretty crazy. So you want to really take a look at what you're posting. This post right here could be a lot better, but it's a link. So the Symphony Orchestra, which we love here in town, they were having some live music today, so we linked to the Symphony Orchestra and tagged the Courthouse Pub because it's not about us, right? So if your foreman, okay, is really is a singer and really loves karaoke, right? Maybe tag him in a karaoke post and say, blah, 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 or go and, better yet, go to the wharf on karaoke night and film him and embarrass him. So anyway, these all have, since I'm the admin of this page, all have my insights right here. All this is very easy, very, very easy to get to. I want to point out this tab because that's why we're here right now. Manage jobs. You can create a job posting just like you would on Indeed on Facebook. People can give you a resume, they can fill out an application and submit it right through Facebook. There's no reason that they have to go to your website even anymore. Okay, you obviously want it there as well, but you can put a posting there. And you can put the wage, you can put the requirements, you can put everything there, and then you can promote that posting as well as a job, right? This function will change your life and will get more people in there. Now you're going to get a couple of kooks, right? That will just, I'm sure you've had a few, right? Already. That will just, whatever, say stuff, and we're going to get into that in just a second because that's super important, managing content on Facebook. But you're going to get a lot of people that are viable, what we call qualified leads in the marketing business, right? So how do you handle your Facebook page? Now, this is just a feed. This is my personal feed. You can see the stories up here, okay? Anybody that follows your Facebook page will see a story come up here. A lot of people watch these. I can't believe it. It's amazing, right? See, I'll do something, post, I'll get 4 likes on the post, and 120 people out of my 1,200 friends will watch that. I'm like, whoa. Like I posted something, I was doing this, and so many people saw that post. That is really important to have something going and going and going. Now, this is my personal page, so I don't have anything there. When you're, that's my friend Kim Geiser. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to find one here. But when you have a comment on Facebook that is bad, how do you handle it? I work there, they suck. They work you like a dog, the pay doesn't, what do you do with that content? Do you delete it or do you engage? Has anybody come across that? What would you do? What would you do?
Try to turn the comment around. Usually try to engage and turn it around.
Right.
If it's things that aren't, they're outlandish and definitely not, and we will hide some.
Yeah.
Turn it around.
Try to flip the tables on them. Never ever engage in an argument. Always stay positive. That is social media 101. Do not engage, okay? It's not warfare. Because guess what? When you start to engage people and you start to say, well, you came into work smelling like cat pee or whatever, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. And that's going to blow up in your face and you're going to delete the comment. Every business on planet Earth can delete a comment. Okay? On Facebook, I suggest you may do that. And if it gets really bad, ban a user. There are nonprofits that can't do that because of open information laws, like the city, who I manage a Facebook page for sometimes. You'll see the city and one of my things. Every once in a while, anyway, I deleted a comment there and the city attorney called me up and said, Jason, you can't do that. You can't delete a comment. Well, why? Because of open records laws. But you can at ECK. Delete that stinking comment because that's not going to help your brand. And if it's a problem, ban that person. Block them. It'll give you that option. That's something you really, really want to watch because if you're not paying attention to those comments, if you're not constantly monitoring social media, that little storm will turn into a monster monsoon. And it can really hurt you, especially if you're looking for people, right? All right, I want to talk about groups and shortcuts here real quick. First off, here, let's go here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm concentrating on Facebook. What I need is a week-long course here. I'm just trying to paint a broad brush. So here are some of the pages I manage, right? And you'll recognize a lot of these different businesses or whatever. When it says I manage them, it means I have access to what they're doing. Manitowoc Symphony Orchestra, I can create a post, I can promote. All of these things, I have helped either create or whatever. So when you have a Facebook account like this and you manage all of these things, these all come under your personal account. So if you're the admin for Eck Industries or for Vagabond Creative Studio, you have to go in there using your personal profile. Okay? That's how it knows it's you. You can verify. And when you're in a page like this, now this one has a profile, so I can switch the whole profile with a whole different news feed and everything else right here. But I'm going to go into here. Let's see here. Boop. These are all the pages. Now this is what we're doing right here. I can see this is the admin portion of it. You want to have your website on here. You want to have your address on here. You want to tell people what you're from, where you're from, and what you do. It's super important. You can see your followers, blah blah blah. Everything else up here. Now, oh my goodness gracious, this mouse. You also can get down into your page this way by hitting on this waffle iron or whatever the hell it is up here. And you can see these different pages here. You can see this one right here. Look at this. Job. I can post a very specific job to my Facebook page if I am looking for something, and you can see what this job template looks like. You click this apply, it'll give you a form, blah blah blah. I will get that form, and you can, this, I want to create a job title here, blah blah blah. All of this stuff will give you a job preview. This is how you can get people from Facebook into your thing. Right here is where you put all of your different details in. See, that's salary range, all this stuff. Do I have insurance? Everything you'd plug into Indeed, you can plug right into here. You can change your photograph. Okay? Does anybody use this at all? You do? Yeah, it's super important. Okay, I want to show you guys one thing here. Okay. Where is it here? Pages. I'm going to go back here. There are so many different ways to get to the same place in Facebook. It's unreal. So you're never going to really get lost. If you can look at your account here, you can look at settings and privacy. You can go on through here. These are all your notifications. This is your messenger, and this is that big grid we just showed you. Okay. If I go to, let's see here, I'm going to go here again, back to my main page. All right. This mouse, it took me to the business suite. You don't have to know the business suite to know Facebook. Come on, internet. All right, cool, here we go. I'm going to click on this. Come on, catch up with me. All right. This is how you can create another page. So let's say you want to do just an employment or culture page. This is how you do it right here. You can also change your follow settings. And what is this? Who you follow on your own business news feed. Who is doing whatever. You can post live video here. You can do all of that stuff right within your page without having to go to the business suite. If you click here, these are business apps. So if you're using Calendly, I can never say that, or if you're using all these other, these are all business apps that you can link to your Facebook. Shopify, blah, 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 blah. And since we're doing manufacturer, I'm not going to go too much into that. All right. All right, so you can change the way this looks on the side. So let's say you don't want all this other crap, you just want one thing, you can change that. This is in the business suite. I'm back at the business suite. I want to look at settings here real quick. All right. Now, Tina Prigge has access to the Manitowoc County Coolest Coast Facebook page, but is not part of the business account. So let's say you have, if you're in charge of your social media and you want to add, your human resource person, your CEO or whatever, this is where you do it. Okay, right now it's just me. My wife doesn't want it. She said, I don't speak that social media stuff, so she doesn't want to be a part of it. So I have all my account settings here. It goes into a credit card. It can automatically deduct all of my different stuff. This is where you set up for advertising, for paid advertising. That's why I wanted to show you this. So Vagabond Creative Studio, I have all of my accounts that I manage, including the city, including everything goes to my credit card, and this is how you can boost your posts and do specific ad spends right here. All right, I'm just gonna go home here. Business Suite is huge. Does anybody have any questions about this? Of course there's 1,000. And we don't have any time. I'm like out of time here. Okay, let's open this up to discussion. Does anybody have any questions about anything? 47, 250, 61. Any other questions? No. No? You're all confused, right? You understand what's going on, right? Do you guys understand how you can use Facebook, how you can use social media to get people in there? Now, if you're super confused, this is the option you have, and this is the sales pitch. You can find an influencer, right? You can find an influencer that has all of this sort of stuff. Who's an influencer in radio right now? Like Damon Ryan or, Lee Douglas, these guys that are on AM radio. Also, Joe Rogan is an influencer in the podcast world on a larger scale. Those guys. The Coolest Coast of Manitowoc County is an influencer. And the reason we're an influencer is because we have over 9,000 followers, and every time I put something out, it doesn't matter if it's boosted or not, it's going to get some interaction. Because I built up that following over the past 3 years. My goal is 10,000 followers. And I haven't reached it yet. This is a way to get the word out about your business and your job openings as well. We have a lot of people coming to this page now. And the reason is because we are promoting Manitowoc and the quality of life here. It's not just about attracting tourism, it's about attracting workers. It's about the community, cool critters like pet lovers and stuff like that, health and wellness. Work here. And I'm going to show you this in just a second. You can do a job search here. Look at all the employment people. I spent so many hours linking all these things here. And this content. Now I was telling you about Paul, my buddy Paul over at PetSkull. We have done so much groundwork here for PetSkull. So we produce and make these videos for companies, post them on Coolest Coast, and this is called Coolest Coast Craftsman. So this is all about Pet Paul, and this is at his old facility. He just opened up a new place. So we do this great content. Now this is what I would call long form content, right?
I'm Paul Hoffman. I am the owner and director
7 minutes.
at PetSkull Brewing.
And for 7 minutes, he goes on and talks about his business.
From PetSkull Brewing, Manitowoc rocks. We're standing in our tap room.
So he'll go on and talk, but we produce these kind of videos. We post them on Coolest Coast so that people know about your business.
We don't have liquor. We don't have
Okay?
wine. It's only
And I don't charge an arm and a leg for it because it's all about the community. I don't think Paul paid me at all. I said, name a beer after me. He made the Coolest Coast Krolsch, what it was. We have one here about the Kona cranes. We have all this cool stuff, Bruner Fabrication, on our page. If you go up here, all of these pages, oops, I'm sorry, this mouse is tripping me out. All right, God darn it. Get up there, there you go. It's not letting me, there we go. Cool kids, let's click on that. We have every restaurant in Manitowoc listed here. All of these pages are up for sponsorship in the new year. So I'm going to put this out. I'm going to start to go sell this. And if you want to have influence and want to have use our influence, you can look at these pages and you'll see all of the stuff. So this is all the stuff that kids can do in Manitowoc. If you have a potential employee that's from Sheboygan that says there's nothing to do in Manitowoc, send them here. Holy smokes, there's so much to do. We live in a really amazing community, you guys. I don't know if you even understand. It is awesome. And kids are a huge part of that. We have parks. We did 20 of these parks videos. We do all sorts of this different content. Right now, we've been doing it for free. I got over 400 of them. It doesn't cost you a cent to link to this, right? If you want to sponsor this page, then we'll talk. I'll bring an agreement over and we'll work on that. But it doesn't cost anything to link to these videos. So let's say you, oh man, I really love parks and, you know, disc golfing or whatever. There's a video on Silver Creek Park. Post this video on your thing. They look at, come and, you know, if you are, whatever, you sponsor a Frisbee golf team and post that video, people will watch it. This is a short form. These are only minute-long videos. So if you, and it's free. Go and link to this stuff right now. This is quality of life here in Manitowoc. It tells you all about the park and it tells you about the awesomeness.
Along the Grateful Park tour, we are going to visit.
Has anybody seen any of these?
Park locations throughout the city.
Right.
Extremely grateful.
This is amazing. This is new content. This is amazing. Link these to your pages. And you'll be able to show everybody the quality of life that's here in Manitowoc.
Kurt Hall, the Park and Rec Division Manager.
So Kurt did, poor Kurt did 20 of these this past summer.
101 South 10th Street.
Yeah, but it tells you all about I took care of all this stuff and the editing and the fancy whatever. Show your potential employees what a great place we live in. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff,
Conservation Corps.
let me know. Let Jamie know. We can work and specify content. And I'm saying Jamie because I've chosen to work with Progress Lakeshore because I think they're a dynamic organization. Tourism attraction is one thing, but economic development is the hub. It's like the tree trunk of the community. If we don't have businesses here, if we don't have employees here, we don't have a community. This is a restaurant series. If people are saying, well, there's nowhere to go to eat here. Here, my buddy Jeff Tess, he kind of looks like Santa, doesn't he? Anybody know Jeff? He also plays Santa. The things. And then we have, look at all these restaurants. Look at all these places. Don't tell me there's no place to eat. Look at this. And I spent so much time putting all these links on here. So if we click on one, Four Seasons, it will take you to their website. And there's Four Seasons. And we can look at their menu and we can do the whole deal there. Isn't that great? And I bet you guys didn't even know that existed. So my main goal with Coolest Coast and social media and this website is to promote Manitowoc and attract workforce here to Manitowoc by showing them the awesome place that we live in. And it's just start linking this stuff. It's free. So you can go ahead and do that. And if I don't see it on each one, I have your names, I know where you live. If I don't see you do it, then I'm gonna call you up. But we can customize content for you too. We'll make a video of your business and we can put it under Coolest Coast Craftsman. All of these pages, Cool Eats, will look different next year because this will be sponsored by somebody. I've already talked to several different restaurants, they're interested, okay? And they're gonna have their logo right on the front, right here. That's valuable stuff because a lot of people come here. This whole series was sponsored by Shoreline Credit Union. And the amount of engagement we got for local restaurants was tremendous. So that's all I have for today. I'm sorry, I'm a little ADD and I bounce around. You all have my cards. If you're ever interested in talking, I'm totally serious. I'll buy you a cup of coffee because that's how much I care about the community. If you have any questions on different content and stuff like that, I like to custom make stuff. So if you're like, oh man, I would really love a 30-second video to put on social media, or I'd like you to handle and manage our social media, let me know. If there's anything that Jamie can do, call her up. Because this organization, along with the chamber, along with tourism, along with all that stuff, make the community better. We're concentrating on workforce development with our website and with our content, focusing on the quality of life in this amazing community. So I hope you guys got a little bit of something out of today. Okay? Thank you for listening to me ramble.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take 2 seconds.